Hi friends, we'll learn about how to create a autocomplete in our Kinter window. So here it is, we are a entry box. When I am pressing A, I am presented with the options. I am pressing the downward arrow and I can use the enter key or right arrow to select the option. So I am just selecting this one, pressing enter key. So the option has come up. I can remove this also, say I am giving B. So B has come up. Now I am pressing down arrow to select one and entering it. So this is how we'll manage the autocomplete, and we'll learn about this, and we'll divide this in three parts. First part we'll see how to the basic requirement of a autocomplete, and how we will manage the changes, how the list will filter and all. Then we'll add the functionality like adding the arrow keys for selection, down arrow and right arrow and the enter key. And in the third part we'll manage the source of the option. So you can see these sources are taken from a list. So instead of that we'll take it from Google Sheet, from MySQL database, or from a Excel file, or from a CSV file. From different sources we can take the data and present it as a autocomplete. We'll see that. We'll start from a blank window. So we are importing as usual our Kinter library, then importing RE. RE is for regular expression. So this regular expression is a string. We can get the matching data from a string which monitors the pattern. I can search, I can filter it. So that regular expression library I am importing, and end I am importing because I will be using it in a further inside while deleting the values from my list box. So let's see this. You can see, and here I am slightly giving a bigger font. This is a tuple I am creating. I will be using with my entry box and the list box. So and this is my data. So this data I will be using it. You can see I have just some sample data. So from this the options will be picked up based on what the user has entered. So this source in other parts will slowly change it to go for a bigger source. Bigger in the sense that you can dynamically even take the data from my database and update it. So we start with a limited source. Okay, fine. We'll first place the components. We'll start with our let's first declare one string variable. E1 will be our entry box. So the string variable I am declaring is E1 str. This is equal to tk dot string var. Why I am using a string var? Because I want to use the trace method. Trace method is whenever this variable is updated, then I can trigger some function. You can learn more from our string variable tutorial also. Now let me just put the entry box. So this one E1 equal to tk dot entry. Now entry, my parent window, MyW, I have declared it at line number 4 here. You can see, so that I am using, telling that this is my parent window. Certain height equal to 6. These are all layout only, you can change it. Now here you see font, I am telling what I have declared at line number 7, font, the tuple, higher size font, that I am connecting to it. So at central place, if I am keeping it, because the same font style I will use for my below list box also. So one place I can change it. I can directly write it here also. Now the most important thing is, now what's my text variable? So this is text variable equal to E1. I'm just connecting this to my string variable. My string variable I am connecting it here, telling it that use this. So that way, that is my main control. Now, here I have to use E1 equal to. Now let me delete. Okay, E1 equal to, this is there. Now let me place it on my grid. So this little layout issue must understand, because we are actually using, to give a autocomplete feature, we are using a entry box and a list box below it. So, and there should not be any gap between these two. So user will understand that there is no, if a gap is there, we will see how the look and feel will change. So I am giving row equal to 0, column equal to 1. So I can give it 0 also, E1. Okay. Now pad x. Pad x is from the left edge, how much I will take it. Pad x, okay, let's give around 20. it doesn't matter, but specifically I am giving pad y equal to 0 because I don't want it should there should be any gap between this entry and my below list box. So that's all. Now I am coming to the next, adding the list box. L1 equal to tk dot list box. Now again it is parent window, MindW. Height. Here height means number of options I can present it. So based on that I am adjusting the height. Otherwise user has to scroll. Now again the font I am connecting to font 1, what I have declared at the top. Now here one option I am giving you, but you can see if you see our tutorials on the list box and all, we have in depth this option relief we have discussed. Now I am using it flat. Why I am using flat? By default it is I think raise or lifted or some other, I think 6 different option values are there for a relief. We have used it flat because we don't want it should completely flush with our entry widget. We'll see that by by changing this how the look and feel. These are all look and feel, nothing to do with our main scripting. Now here one important thing is what should be my background color. Okay, I'll do one thing. I will not give any background now. You can just see this and how it is looking. So let's save it and sorry, I have to place it on the grid first, otherwise it will not be visible. L1 dot grid equal to row equal to see row first one is sorry here L1 dot grid row equal to 1 below my entry box, row 1 column equal to 1. So that's all. Let's see how this looks. I am just running this. Unknown option height EIGHT, where is EIGHT? So here I cannot give a entry. Here I cannot give a for a entry. There is no height option here. So let me just remove this. Let me save this and run. Here it is. You can see here is the entry box. This is my list box. The list box is here. You can see this list box. I want this color to have the window color. It should be flushed, and this border also should not be there. If I'll change my relief also to other thing, here you can see I have given flat, not elevated or anything. So that is why this is coming. Now I will manage this layout in also. So for that, how I will know what's the background color? It should flush with the background of the window. So for that, let me do one thing. I will just print what is my window background. So MindW is my parent window. Inside that, all options are available as a list to me. So I am just running this. This will tell me what the background is. See, this was this system button face. This is the background it's used. So the same background I will use it now. I will add that background now. Going to next line, BG equal to, here I will paste that. So system button face, this is my, or if you are using a different background for the window and want it to appear flush with that, you can use it. One more thing is you can see that highlight color. Highlight color is when it is on focus, the border color is what it should be. That also must be same because it has to completely merge with the Windows background. So that is how it is. Now you can see now if I am just running this. Okay, I forgot comma. Yeah, it's saying me. Now let me just run this. Yeah, you can see here, though this element is there, I have in focus is there, here it is, but it is not visible. We'll add trace method now to monitor what the user has entered. So before that, let's just comment this line and go to the top and write our trace method. So E1 str, this is my string variable which I have declared it at line number 9, and it is also connected to the entry. So anytime this variable is changed, so I am using the write method, means this particular option will tell whether you want to execute the function at the time of creation, a change, or creation or destruction. So you can read our tutorial on this to know more about this trace method and string variable. Now I am telling trigger the my data, this particular function. So far I have not declared. Let me give a comma here. So far I have not declared this. I will be doing that now. So I will just declare it. Get sorry, this I will, let me give, instead of my data I will just say get data. So I will, this is for our easy recognition, so how we'll know which function I am using. So get data, because all the, I don't know how many arguments, so I am just giving star arg. So all the variables it will, all the arguments it will take. Now I am coming inside. Now first let me read what the user has entered. So I am just writing it search str equal to, if you have seen our earlier, then entry box will get all the user entered data by e1.get. So this is for our user enter string. Fine. So what the user has entered, because as soon as this variable changes, this will trigger. First we will see what it is. Suppose you have entered A, it will take the value of. Next you have gone to B, then it will take AB. So like that. Now what I will do, first I will do is delete our that list box. L1 is the list box. I will delete all the options because I had to put a fresh option now. So delete starting from 0 till end. This end you can see here at the top, line number 3 we have imported. Okay, so that's what this I am using it. Now next line is the most important one. For okay, this is a variable element in my list. What is my list? This is the list here at line number 8, some sample data we have taken. So this is the, we'll loop through each and every element of this list. So I am selling for this, a for loop only. Inside that I will be using regular function. The regular pattern matching or regular expression, when I am using this library, I can use, there are actually two basic common functions. One is match and search. In case of search, it will match anywhere. Suppose I am picking up searching for AB, this will also pick up. You can see this BA will pick up because AB is there. But I don't want that. I want from the beginning if it is matching. So for that I will be using match. You can learn more about regular expression. It's a very powerful tool. So it can return you. So I am telling RE, regular expression, match I am using, and inside that I will first give the search string, search str, what the user has entered or I want to search for. Now where it will search? It will search for each element because I am inside the loop, and there is an option I am telling ignore case. Ignore case. Fine. So what it will do is it will check for if this will return true or false. So that is why regular expression, it is a match. I am searching, search string I am taking. Element means this every step inside the loop 111 it will take, and it will, if it is true, then this if will be true. So then what I will do, because if it is true means it's matching, so I must show it as a option. So what I am telling L1, then insert. I am inserting it, and tk dot end. What I will insert? The element. Okay, so the element is added by using insert. Before that, you can see at the line number 17 here I have removed all the previous selections or previous options, and then I am adding a fresh. So that's all. This should work. Now let's see how up to this point how it is working. Okay, I have to close it running 1 second. Yeah, here it is. Now I will say A. You can see all the options of the list box is populated with this. Now I am just going for B. You can see that this AB matching is there. Now to understand that, I can change this match to also search. What happens when I am using search? You can see, you have already seen what when I have entered AB. Now you see here I am entering A, entering B. Now you see this third option, you see this has also come because it starts with B, but AB is there within the string. So that is why the search is returning that. That is the basic difference between the search and match. So if your requirement is that it should match anywhere in the string, not at the beginning, only at the beginning, then you can use search. So let's go for because this autocomplete is something like as you type the left side it should match, so I am going for match only. Okay, now one more step is there, because how I will push the data to that. So let's me run it again, A, B, but if I am doing this, nothing is happening. Now that next step I'll do that. I will add a bind event to my list box. So once you have done a selection, that it will work. So I will say L1 dot bind. Now what is that event? So sorry, here inside this I will write my event. So here it is list box select, list box. So once you select this list box, so here I am just coming here, sorry, enter my update. This is the function name I have given, I have not declared it yet. So I am just going it to here, I will write my update. So here I will say define my update. Now in that let me really the variable I am setting my widget. So this what it will, once this is selected, what it will do. Now again inside this is not my parent window, this is my local variable equal to my widget. I am just capturing it, widget. So now next index is equal to, now this is I have to read the which particular index or option is selected, because there will be present, user will be presented with multiple, one option is selected, so I am reading that. It's an integer, I have to convert it. So I will say my underscore w, then cursor your se, cursor selection, as it is CTION, cursor selection. Now what it is cursor selection, I'll get it 0. So this tuple value I am converting it into, this will tell me the what is the option that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, suppose 5 options are there, what's the number of it, that index position of it, that I will get it here. Now what is the value in that position, for that I will say my w dot get index. Now this is the value, not, see, index is the number only, it tells the position, it not returns me the value. Now I using get, I will get that value whatever is user has selected. Now I will set e1 underscore str. This is my string variable connected to the entry box. So set that value, I am setting it value. So that value I read it, whatever I read it here, the means what the user has selected. First I found out the index or the position of it, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, which position it is. Then based on that position I am picking up the value. That value I am giving it to string variable e1 str set. Now once it is selected, what I can do, I don't want all the options to be still visible to the in my list box. So I am telling delete from what I will use, starts from 0, sorry here I missed, 0 till end. All the options you do, because the user has already selected it. Now let me just save it and running it. Here it is A. Now lot of options are there. I will go B. Suppose I am to pick up this, I am just clicking on this. So this options have vanished because of this line number 14. And when I am, again I will just show you, you just see when I am, data is updated. Now once I am clicking any of the option or I am doing a selection, this is go. So this is what actually the basic concept behind creating a autocomplete box using a entry and a list box. But usually what happens, I have to configure the down arrow, or moment I suppose this to get select option, I will not use the one, I will use the down arrow, and either I will use a enter button or right arrow to pass that selection or to select that one. That we will see in the next part, because now it is too long. So I will request you just try this code and in your, so up to this point you should be comfortably achieve this particular functionality, and share with your friends, and request you please subscribe. So next part and the third part also will be going to add. Please subscribe and press the bell icon so you will be notified as and when we add the videos tutorials to this, and please share with your friends and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.